Let's get to it, part 6. Last we talked, I was on the bed and I was closing my eyes and flies open the room door and comes in the side girl. And she looks at me and I'm looking at her like, and she's like, let me tell you something. I know you think you heard what you thought you heard, but I actually run in here. And I don't want you here. I need you out. I said to her, I was like, girl, I don't want to be here. I'm trying to leave. And she looks at me, she's like, and another thing, I saw you staring at my man. So she was like, I need you to keep your eyes at the wall. I said, yo, who do you think you're talking to? Secondly, ain't nobody want your dusty ass man. Like, what? So that's when she looks at me, she's like, what you said? And I was like, nobody wants your man. And that's when the girl mushes my face. So keep in mind, things have not actually gotten violent during this whole entire ordeal, right? This is the first time someone puts their hands on me, let alone my face. I mean, so I looked at her and I said, and I swung at that girl. When I tell you I swung, I beat her up. And she's like grabbing on me. She's grabbing on my hair and she's just attacking me and I'm fighting her back. Because at this point I have all this pent up aggression because I'm like, I don't want to be here. I should have never ever gone on that date. I don't know these people. And someone thinks that they could just put their hands on me. So I'm beating her up and she's attacking me. And that's when I hear bank robber babe go and say, hey, stop that. And she's just like on top of me at this point. And all I see is him grab her from the back of her hair and flies her across the room. And he looks at me, he's like, you good? And her man is there too. And her man's like, yo, what's going on? And she's like, I don't want her. So she's saying, I don't want them in my house. I don't want them here. They up here ruining things. Now they bring up drama to us. This ain't it. And you think you can talk to me? He just goes, he's like, grabs her. He's like, yo, what do you think you're doing? And he goes, so bank robber babe goes and says, yo, don't put your hands on her. Don't you ever put your hands on her. He's talking to that girl. And I'm just like, and he looks at me, he's like, you okay? You okay? Sit down. And he goes and he looks at his mans and he's like, yo, control your shorty. And that's when his friend goes and says, yo, chill. You a guest here. And that's when I'm just like, well, there's a lot going on. Like a lot. So now bank robber babe goes and says, yo, with all due respect, I came here because you my mans. But I didn't come here to make things worse. Now I need to make sure shorty's good. But you need to make sure that she don't attack her. I know we're guests here, but don't make sure she doesn't put hands on her. And so at this point, I'm really like, bank robber babe, not really. He's trying to protect me. So I look at him a little like, you know, because it's like this weird thing that happens. It's like, I mean, we in this because of you, but you're also making sure that like I'm not physically harmed. So okay, just a lot. And, you know, he also, like, really pulled that girl off of me. Oh, that was whooping her. But still, he pulled her off of me. And, I don't know, it just made me realize, like, okay, in that second, it made me look at him a little differently. But I still remember I'm mad at him, right? Cool. And so him and his friend just look at each other. And it's like, things are fine, right? But the girl is looking at me like she does not like me. She just has a stank. Let me add, homegirl looked a little dusty anyway. So I was just like, okay. But she's looking at me with the stankiest face like, ugh. And I think she was more so embarrassed because her man checked her in front of like bank robber babe. And I heard. It was loud enough for the whole world to hear. So I think it's just a lot of like feelings of like humiliation. But also, of course, like just not wanting people in her space because she don't want drama. Cool. But I don't want to be there. Girl, I want to go home. I'm here against my will. So whatever, right? So now they leave. Bank robber babe comes to me. I'm sitting on the bed and I'm just pissed off because I'm just like, yo, like, I'm like sitting there like, now y'all really got me messed up. I was really messed up from the beginning, but now you really got me messed up. So he looks at me, he's like, yo, I'm sorry. He's like, I am sorry. And I'm looking at him like, sorry is not going to cut it. And he's like, no, he's like, Chelsea, he was like, I really just wanted to take you out. And I should have never taken you out. I should have never put you in harm's way. I should have never, I should have just went about my day. But He was like, I was feeling you. I am messing up this whole entire thing for myself. And I'm just listening to him ramble. And I'm like, I cut him off. I'm like, you should have never been on a dating website. You're on the run. So he looks at me. He's like, you're right. He's like, you're right. He's like, then he's just looking at me. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not okay. Like, I got attacked. What do you think? And he looks at me. He's just like, he touches my face and he's like, yo, you good? Like, rubbing my face. And he just looks at me. He's like, and I'm looking at him like, damn, this man is still so freaking beautiful and fine. Gosh. But I'm still pissed off because I'm like, this isn't imagine my night. So he's gazing and I'm gazing and I'm like, this feels weird. I hope this man don't think he about to get a kiss out of me. And I look at him like, you better back up. And he's like, he laughs. And I'm just like, then he goes and says to me, he's like, in all seriousness, he's like, I'm gonna get you home. He's like, I'm gonna find a way for me to be out of this situation, for you to be out of the situation. But he's like, nobody's gonna touch you. No one's gonna lay a finger on you. He was like, and I'm not gonna hurt you at all. So there was something comforting though about that. And I'm realizing more and more, I'm like, oh, this man don't want extra charges. He really just wants to go about his business. So I go and say, you really not gonna hurt me? And he's like, if I wanted to hurt you, I would have hurt you a long time ago. He's like, I'm just trying to separate from you and go about my business, bro. I said, okay, because you really could have just left me out on the freeway and I would have found my way home. He was like, how? We were on the run. And I'm like, no, you were on the run. Me? I was just coming from a date. Okay. So I'm really tired and I decided to take like a power nap for like just 20 minutes. Let's say no more than 30 minutes because I have been keeping my eyes open and I just got into a fight. I exerted so much energy. So I lay my head down and I take this 20-minute power nap, right? And then I wake up and I see him just watching me while I'm sleeping. Like he's just watching me. And I'm not going to hold you. I open my eyes and I see a very beautiful face. And I'm just like, oh. But then I remember, oh, you got me here. I don't want to be here. So I look at him. I'm like, why are you staring at me? He's like, no, he's like, you're just so beautiful. Like, he's like, you're really beautiful. And I'm like, there is no time for romance. This is what got us here in the first place. I was like, sir, stop. You're being creepy. So we really get to talking again. And I'm dozing off though. Like he's telling me about how it was for him growing up and how things are really, really tough for him. He didn't have his pops around and his mom was really like trying her best to like take care of him and his siblings. But you know, he just wanted a better life for himself and he didn't see himself getting that without doing the things that he did. So I was like, that's really unfortunate, like because you could have went a different direction. But I do know that some people aren't granted the same advantages. So I really try not to judge, but I did want him to understand you shouldn't go bank robbing. Like you shouldn't go around robbing banks. I'm like, let alone just people. So you know, I end up like closing my eyes again, right? And then I'm probably out cold for 2 hours. I wake up to like a blanket and, you know, him like with his head against the wall, just looking at me and then looking away. And I'm just like, okay, this guy really watched me sleep, but whatever, right? So I look at him, I'm like, can I please use the bathroom? I'm not going to do nothing stupid. And he's like, trust me. I don't think you would do anything stupid here, but okay. He's like, you're good. He's like, go use the bathroom. I was like, okay, cool. So I get to tiptoeing, right? And the bathroom, like the toilet is, the bathroom is far out, like down the hallway, right? But there is a bedroom that's probably like it's like 2 doors down. So you got to pass this one bedroom to get to the bathroom. So I had to pass this bedroom, right? But I hear someone whispering, like talking in the bedroom. And let me also mention, his friend, like his the guy that, you know, whose place that is in the living room watching television. So I know it's not him. And I notice it's the girl voice. So it's the girl, the side girl. So I hear her talking and it sounds like she's like rambling, but it feels suspect. So something in me said, girl, listening, right? Don't know why I'm being nosy in other people's house, but my safety's on the line. So I'm listening in, and she goes and she says, yeah, they here. And I'm like, and she's like, so what should I do? What you think I should do? Yeah. And I'm like, what you mean what you should do? So at this point, I'm like, something about this girl I don't trust. See, I already don't trust Bank Robber Babe, but I really don't trust this one, right? Plus, she already attacked me. So she's not having it. So I quickly go back to that room. I tiptoe myself back in that room. I open the door. He's sitting there. He looks up at me. He's like, what? I'm like, we need to go. He's like, what are you talking about? We need to go. I'm like, we need to leave. And he's like, why? I said, she's on the phone with someone right now, and she just told them we're here. And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, she's on the phone with someone right now. She told them we're here. I don't think you want to find out who that is. And he looks at me, he says, say less. He was like, sit down. And I was like, so at this point, we don't know who she called. I don't know who she called, but something about that call, like that, the way she was talking felt very eerie. Like it just felt so eerie. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, so he gets up and he walks out the room, but the door's a little cracked. So I quickly get up and tiptoe to look over to see what's gonna happen. And he goes and he like shouts over to his homeboy. He's like, yo. And his homeboy goes and he's like, what's up? And he's like, let me talk to you real quick. And nods, right? And his homeboy goes, says, yeah. And yo, y'all would not believe who she called. And I promise you, it is not what you think.